If you're going to talk about the beginning of the season, if you're going to talk about it's not what happens, it's how you respond, then you better be ready to live it, I guess. And they lived it. No one ever pointed a finger. Everybody competed the best they could.
This is the tough side of things, in that from the beginning of training camp to now, that we've built something really special, and we're building something really special, and the guys in that locker room have made it special, and that they should cherish this season with one another because it was special and that we accomplished a lot. We're not in the tournament, which is disappointing, but there was far more that we accomplished together than not.
It's a bad feeling, completely bad feeling, knowing that we were in control, being in control of our destiny last 2 weeks, and we just couldn't get it done.
All right, little who's to blame as we do the postmortem on the 2021 regular season for the 18 teams that aren't advancing. Colts lose their final two to the Raiders and the Jaguars and miss the playoffs. Who's to blame for that one, Charean?
I'm going to go Frank Reich. This is a team with 7 Pro Bowlers, Mike. You've looked over the last 2 years, this just dawned on me. They're 2-2 against Jacksonville. That's a fireable offense almost in itself. But he's the one who wanted Carson Wentz. He's the one who said, I can win with him. He went to bat for him, and now he's non-committal, as he should be, on Wentz's future with the team after this season. It just didn't work out, and they gave up too much for him too, Mike. So I'm putting it on Frank Reich. They just didn't get it done. They needed to win, one of their last 2 games and couldn't do that.
Yeah, they started the 2020 season with a trip to Jacksonville and lost, and Jacksonville went on to lose their next 15 games and 5 or so into the next season, and then they capped this season with a trip to Jacksonville on Clown-Out Day, where the Jaguars had just gotten trounced by the New England Patriots, gave up 50 points. It's amazing that Frank Reich did not have his team ready to go to Jacksonville and take care of business. I think there was just an arrogance there. They thought all they had to do was show up and they were going to win, and it failed. I agree with you. This is on Reich. The talent is there, and I would have been far more inclined to bet on Jim Irsay firing Frank Reich this morning than Stephen Ross firing Brian Flores. Chargers lose 3 of their final 4 games. They blow the opportunity to tie last night's game with an untimely timeout. They missed the playoffs. Who's to blame there?
Well, I'm sure that real football people will know that Brian Staley is not to blame for that, but I am putting it all on him at the risk of being not a real football person, Mike. But you just look at the call he made there on 4th down. I mean, I don't even know that analytics people agree with that. The 4th and 1 at their own 18 with the 2-yard loss. They just gave up a field goal for that, and we're very fortunate. But they went 4 of 18 on 3rd down, 6 of 7 on 4th down. If they'd just be better on 3rd down, they wouldn't have to go for it on 4th down all the time. But you go back to that Chiefs game, some of the decisions he made in that game, he just strictly uses analytics and sometimes doesn't even look at analytics, just decides we're going for it on 4th down. And I just think some of the times that it was reckless, and I think it cost him a playoff spot.
That explanation for calling the timeout, he said we didn't have the right personnel in there, our best personnel to stop the run. Well, they need better personnel to stop the run if that's the best they have, because they gave up 9 yards on that play. But that timeout operated as a reset button. It punctured the reality that was creeping in inevitably and almost certainly that this thing was just going to be a tie and both teams were going to get in. It was moving in that direction. And the contrast I made earlier today, and I want to write about this at some point tonight, the fact that Bill Belichick, Super Bowl 49, remember when the clock was ticking for the Seahawks and everybody thought he should call a timeout, and his instincts, based on all those years of coaching, his instincts told him not to. And this is the problem. And Analytics Mafia is going to come after us, but I don't care. I'll gladly sleep with the fishes on this one. You lose that instinct. You lose that gut feel. When all of your decisions are driven by formulas and calculations and objective factors, you lose that thing that may whisper to you, don't do that thing that a cold, hard, objective analysis would maybe suggest you should do. Dean Pease was trying to articulate that last week, but I think that's the contrast. Belichick in Super Bowl 49, not calling the timeout. Brandon Staley last night calling the timeout and ruining the moment that would have delivered a playoff berth for both teams.
Yeah, and you have to have that gut instinct, Mike. And to me, it just seems like in some of these situations, he doesn't have it. He's strictly looking at what analytics tell him, and you've got to have that gut feeling. And, you know, Bill Belichick kind of poo-poos analytics, but we all know he uses them. But he also uses his gut, and he's just got a great feel for the game. And Brandon Staley, maybe he's capable of finding that, but he just can't purely rely on analytics every single time.
Who's to blame for the Ravens losing the final 6 games of the season and missing the playoffs? Who's to blame there, if anyone?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's to blame there, Mike. It's injuries. They have a who's who list of those who were injured. 17 players on IR, and we know that Lamar Jackson wasn't on IR but missed the last 4 games with that ankle injury. They lost their entire running backs room. It was just one injury after another for that football team. Some years it just seems like it's not your year. This just wasn't the Ravens' year, and what a coaching job I believe that John Harbaugh did just to get them where they were.
Yeah, I think this one just falls into the stuff happens, or another word that starts with S but has one fewer letter, happens category. Some years, it really isn't your year. And it doesn't mean you give up. They didn't give up. They had those 2 games that came down to 2-point conversion attempts that failed. One was so close to being a completed pass just off the glove of Mark Andrews. The other one, if Tyler Huntley rolling to the right. Someone was explaining to me that if they just would have started that play against the Packers on the left hash mark, Huntley would have had more space to roll to the right and maybe spot that Marquise Brown was streaking across the back of the end zone wide open. They win one of those games. Maybe it's a different vibe yesterday. They win that game. They get to the playoffs. So I just think it sometimes can be attributed to too much crap happened for anyone to overcome.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.